A little bit of weather coming, maybe a little bit of ice, not much snow or anything coming, but a couple yearly maintenance things I really needed to do, but I haven't actually done yet. I've done some basic things, but I'm going to take you through kind of a full maintenance of some things that need to be done. I've got some WD-40. I finally buying the cans and a spray bottle. I got tired of wasting stuff in the other stuff and having to get it out of those cans. Some wire ties, I'll show you why in a bit. Some cleaner, some terminal cleaner tools, my grease gun with the pointed fitting that we'll need for this. So I'm gonna go over a couple parts on this, help explain why I'm gonna do some of the maintenance I'm gonna do that's not necessarily in the manual, but we gotta be ready to go. So I have a saying, works the same way I guess for the fire department or police or snow plowing or anything else. There's certain jobs, if there's a 1% chance of something happening, we have to be 100% ready. And this is just what you have to do. So when I price a snowplow contract, there are things in there that are calculated not just on, hey, let's buy a plow, go out and make money plowing snow for a little bit. You have to calculate in the vehicle cost, the maintenance of that, but also maintenance of the equipment and the time it takes to do it. So let me get going with this. All right, I didn't show this in the beginning stuff I had set because I had it set over to the side, but it doesn't really matter what kind of grease you use. Any of these parts right here are not sliding surfaces or moving a lot, but they take a lot of weight and the pressure and vibration and hits, and you can see where there's some wear from rust there. So what I do well, let me use the other one, it's got the glove on. Take just a little bit of any kind of grease like this. I'm just putting it on that area. Now what this does, obviously it's giving a little bit of a barrier from the salt and stuff. It's going to be out on the highway, but this also helps get that piece of grass out of there. This also helps the mating here in a little bit. Once we go to move forward, this stuff's just going to slide a little bit better and be better for it. I don't mind the excess that much. Then I'm going to get some in the hole. All right, that side's good. Okay, again here we've got the plow side, and you can see the rust here, some shines. I know that's a wear point. These are more from me going and guiding it in, which these work well for. A little bit of wear there, which probably just some bumping when I've been trying to mount it before. But you'll see that the mounting rod will come through here in just a minute. But again, these aren't really moving pieces, but I'm going to coat them. This is a moving piece, and the lever in the back is a moving piece. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and put just a little bit there. Again, I don't really have to gloop this on or anything like that, but I'm going to put a little bit inside this hole and a little bit more there. How about that? Since there is some wear there, I'll just put a smidget. This here, I'm going to put a little bit, just super light on the back because there is rust on it. If anything, it can act as a layer between corrosion or anything for it. And I'll wipe up stuff through the handle because usually I actually end up doing these with my feet. They're so easy to use. And then there's a wear mark right here. And this red tab will show how it works here in just a minute. But so what's happened, the top of the truck mount is going to come in and actually hit on this spring. So this is a place also for maintenance that you're going to want to keep an eye on. This right now is loose. Now when I didn't have the truck height right, I'd actually ran into this spring a couple times trying to get it mounted, didn't have the mount height right and all that yet, and actually tires, springs, everything else make an effect with that. But I'd actually ended up bending the spring pretty bad. Well, then the automatic system wouldn't work. So I had to use 2 sets of pliers and bend this back into place. I'm going to try to shift the camera just a little bit. Let's see if we can see down in there a little bit better. But this spring is setting where that's going to be against this rod. So what happens as soon as I hit the unlock lever, you'll see this move. And now it is against this spring in here. So what's going to happen, as soon as the bar, the top tooth that's coming from the truck, hits this spring in the mounting session, it's going to release and let that slide through. So we do have a running mating surface here. Guess what I'm going to do? Put some grease on it. Why not? A little bit there, and that's actually probably good enough. Now, the last part of this, let me go grab the WD-40. Again, is this probably overkill? I would say so. But I also want this plow to last for a long time. So I'm just going to coat the living daylights out of it. Up in there, there's springs up in here. Another little layer of something, definitely not going to hurt it. I'll do the other side for the mounting stuff, then we'll move on to the next step. I can't quite make this get the right angle to get the light in there to really make this justice to see the terminals. The female ones here, but they are dirty. I don't even see any shine at all. I can see black in there. They're not corroded, so that's a good sign. That's because of previous maintenance. Once you get corrosion back in there, well, you've really got some rework. But let me go ahead and spray this. This is just electronics cleaner. Get it back in the holes. Try not to splash on my camera. Okay, this is the power supply, and this is the controls. And if you'll see this, this is not normally on a Boss plow mount. This is the air fitting that I hook an air chuck to, and this goes to the 2 airbags inside of the springs. I pump those up to 50 pounds of pressure whenever I put the plow on to compensate for the weight. All right, next we're going to clean the terminals. These are some smaller ones. This is an Amazon kit, and honestly, man, this thing's been fantastic. But pick the size here. What you'll have with one of these is you'll have the female terminal cleaner, which is a male on the tool, and then you'll have the female side. So once we go to the plow, we'll use that one on that side. But here we'll use this one, and it's just like a crosshatch, almost like a file. We're not going to go real aggressive with this. We're just going to buff these connections up a little bit. So, you know, why do I want to be picky with every one of these? Well, when there is a blizzard out there and you get one of these connections that goes wrong, one of the functions is not going to work. Maybe it's the headlights. Maybe it is the right wing plow. Maybe it's making it go into the V-wedge or scoop in the forward mode. I've had this happen, and I'll show another thing in a bit while I use a couple wire ties. But I think it's you just want these to be right. This is the control of the plow right here. All right, I've scraped all of them once. Again, these 2 are not actual terminals. You can see that in the other plug, but if you'll take a look what was in your, maybe in your terminals, bunch of junk. Just pulling that out. So I'm going to spray again and try to blast a few things out of there. My air hose is up at the truck, or up at the shop, but I'm going to do some more cleaner in there. Probably do one more wipe, and then we'll go to the male plug. All right, on to the male side of the terminals here. You can see probably an excess of dielectric grease has been pushed towards the back. You get a bit of goo, but things are shiny and there is no corrosion. But what we're going to do is go ahead and wipe this side out, spray it, wipe it again, and probably go ahead and take the terminal brush over that. And this side looks really, really good. All right, so here's another tip that's going to come up. I wasn't expecting to film, but we do maintenance because of what we do know. Because we've got to maintain it, keep it right, just things we know we're supposed to do. But when we actually do maintenance and go over every part of whatever machine it is, we also find things we didn't know. And as I was turning this around, you'll see one of the wires right there has been chafed and is actually to bare wire. Doggone it. Would you just look at it? Just look at it. I'm glad I caught that, because that is most likely a hot wire. And if that touches to the frame up here on somewhere, you know, I could pop a fuse and I'm out trying to plow snow. So I've had some issues with these Boss pins. In fact, in a minute I'll show about straightening some of the pins and so on, but I've thought about replacing this to a couple different sets of Deutsch connectors. But right now what I'm going to do, since we've got stuff coming, or weather coming, is I'm going to cover this towards the end more, and we're going to taper up real good to secure it and cover it. So let me get that done and then we'll move on. Well, good enough for now. It's secure, it's covered. It's not touching another wire, but we'll show you a little more here in a second why this problem even developed with that turn there. But it's not a boss problem, actually. It is a mounting problem. But I'll show you that here in a minute. All right, I forgot to mention, I could have done a video, but you have to put the controller in float mode, which means the down button, until it turns red, and then it's ready to do the mount. But I also do a visual check to see that this pin is seated all the way in there. Matter of fact, I see a little bit of a gap. Now this red has come over and locked it. I tend to like to give them a little kick. And the other one actually looks like it's seated in all the way. All is well. And it's in the lock position. Boom. All right, so here's the root of that problem with the bare wire. And I've had this issue with some other things before, but this, which was mounted by a location or by facility. In fact, that didn't even fill on there real good at all. Sometimes I find I have to kind of put it on from one side and then it'll fit on a little bit better. But the issue is it's mounted right behind this frame. So when you hit a manhole cover and you get some jarring and this hits, or you get snow packed up in here from the mist and stuff that's rolling up in here, then you hit a snow plow or a manhole cover. Hope you don't hit a snow plow. But it has caused the abrasion there and hits. And it used to knock this thing loose a couple times. All of a sudden it'd be like, hey, what's going on? I can't control right wing or something. And it would be because this was coming loose. So I keep this collar around here, and in a bit we're going to get a couple wire ties as soon as I seat this better and put them around the back to help secure that thing in. But future project, this thing has got to get mounted somewhere else around this front. And with the looks of that wire, I'm probably going to look at doing a different type of connection system here. It'll be some work, but it may be worth it in the end. So let me move on to the next thing. All right, the next thing, we've got it in the V-Plow mode so that I can have access to all these holes up through here. These are grease points that you're going to have to use one of these for. So here's the theory behind this. Obviously, it's a moving part on that spindle, the shaft that's going down through here. And you may not see wear. I can see shine in there, things like that. But you don't want this spindle to wear too much. You'll start getting wing sag. I don't know what to technically call it, but you really want this piece staying solid. But here's a key to it. If I don't fill it with grease, then when I plow, I'm probably going to fill it with salt and road grit and everything else. And that's obviously like putting sandpaper in there. So let's go ahead and get some grease in this thing. We'll go ahead and get the ones going down through this side, then I can switch positions. Yeah, oozing out. Nice. Okay, one of the other things here, I've got it running now, so a little bit harder to hear, but we're checking hydraulic fluid, and it's up in the elbow, so fluid is good. All right, besides a bunch of other things I keep ready when I'm out plowing, I've always got the saw going. Chaps and the extra stuff are in that box there, but it's always a chance of snow or a tree across the road blocking access to go plow or put some ice melt down. So that's always here, but we do all the maintenance. Besides these, you never go anywhere without those. But this is one of the little emergency kits, we'll call it, for the plow. Haven't had to use it yet, but we've got some extra hydraulic fluid for the plow. We actually have an extra mainspring. It's a hunk of metal. We got a whole extra one here, brand new. We've got a strap that is just for if we lose power to the plow and it's on the ground. I mean, that thing's heavy. So this is to use it to winch it back up into place so you can move. We've got extra bolts, nuts, got extra solenoid switch in case that fails, and got some extra eye bolts that actually are for those springs in case one of those broke. You know, you're kind of out of business, so that could be an easy fix on there. And we also have an extra hydraulic hose that is for this plow. Obviously we always talk about the primary plan, secondary plan, and the tertiary, even the third plan. So all that stuff is ready to go in case. Of course, we got tools on the truck to be able to fix that stuff in the field. But on to the last thing, a couple things, and man, we're ready. All right, pretty much done. Finally went up here and used the bigger strap. It's around the bracket and it's pulling on this yoke, and that's holding it up on this harness part. So it's holding this in pretty doggone tight. But when I was driving up here to this other flat spot to just finish this up, the left wing wouldn't work. When I said, oh, why is that? Well, now the right wing wouldn't work. I was like, man, I just cleaned these. So I kept resetting this, and then the plow wouldn't even raise up. So then it kind of dawned on me, if I have one function that's messing up, then it's probably one of these pins in here or solenoid that's, you know, that's messing that one function up. But if all of them are not working suddenly and off and on, then it's got to be the main power. And that's what it was. All the jibber jabber over there doing the maintenance prep and all that, and I just kind of forgot to go on to the main power lead. So I want to see if we can get it. See how dirty that is on the side? It is dirty. So as soon as I wiggled it, I got power to everything. So I'm going to have to clean this one, male and female, both sides of that. And I'm going to go ahead and secure it for the upcoming little bit of weather event. But other than doing that, I'm going to spray WD-40 around every place. There is no grease zerk around these kind of locations. I'm just going to spray them for the heck of it. Then I've got to check tire pressure, oil level, coolant level, all the regular maintenance things. Then I'm going to go ahead and load one of the hopper cubes on top of the on the pallet forks of the tractor, so it'll be the first one ready to load really quick. But other than that, now I had to get this done quick. I got to fuel up too. I've got to go on and move on to my wife's F-150 pickup truck and replace a radiator today before it really gets bad weather. So it's a work day ahead. Bless you all. I hope you have a good new year, and hopefully we'll have a little video of the next upcoming weather. Well, that'll let you see a little bit of the rain that's coming down. But again, I'm on a bridge here overlooking I-40, and I've got no ice even on the bridge, so we are looking pretty good so far. Looks like sun coming up, but that's to the west. That's Asheville. Yeah, we're just going to keep going up to the higher elevation, but man, if a bridge down here is looking good, then not too worried about it at all.